it's Sammy. Welcome to the Career Kickstart Show. Now, for this episode, I want you to join me on a journey of the mind, a journey of imagination. Now, I'm going to set the scene of when I first conceived of the idea of this episode. Now, picture it. Sitting in a cafe, looking over a charming square in Lisbon, Portugal, with the ruins of a cathedral a distance. I, your gentle podcast host, I am on the cusp of my birthday month. In classic Leo fashion, I celebrate all July long, because why have one day when you can have a month? On that morning, I treated myself to a hearty brunch and a long journaling session, where I went over my vision for my 31st rotation around the sun. I spent honestly too much of my 20s following a 5-year plan that really didn't actually account for what I wanted to do. Just what I thought was a smart, steady thing. And that is what brings me to today's episode. And it's all about how to focus on the dream to make it a reality. Now, back to me in that little quaint Lisbon cafe. This brings me to why I thought I needed to do the smart, steady thing, even though my heart said, be wild like a pony on the prairie. My teenage self was reading Kerouac and Fitzgerald, dreaming of a life outside my small town where I could mingle with creatives and explore cities like Lisbon, which I had only read about. However, I grew up, and the adult me thought it was an impossible dream. I had to be sensible, hence the 5-year plan. Spoiler, it didn't lead to anything besides student debt, career dissatisfaction, and general ennui. Typical millennial issues. I was following all the rules, but I didn't realize that the game had changed. I wised up for my graduate degree, which I have no debt for, but I still thought that I couldn't have the career of my dreams, which entailed working online, traveling the world, and having enough time to pursue my love of writing. I mean, keep in mind, I didn't wake up yesterday and just end up in Lisbon. I've been roaming Europe and South America with my laptop since 2017. Now, the common response that I get from people who find out about my lifestyle is how lucky I am, fortunate, or what a luxury. Your parents must have money. That makes me laugh since I'm the second youngest of 6, with a mom who works as a nursing home aide, a dad who is a university accountant, and the only money in the family are the coins that fall on the couch cushions. Beyond the inherent skin and passport privilege, I don't actually come from a background where people go abroad. People don't really leave my hometown unless they join the military. They either work in a copper mine or a nursing home, or they're married to somebody who does one of the aforementioned things. Now, how did a girl, small town girl from a no-name desert town, end up in Lisbon, or the place where I'm recording this episode now is actually Bulgaria? How'd she do it? How did it work? Well, let me tell you. It took me years of freelancing to build up the skills. And then this part is key, even if I didn't really appreciate it at the time. It took me about a year or so of journaling, visualizing, and getting my metaphorical shit together to make it work. While the technical skills I have learned have come in handy, I truly believe it was that time working on personal development which gave me the edge to go for my dream. I'm not saying that I pulled a Tony Robbins to awaken my inner giant in some weekend seminar. No, I did daily work in my journal to clarify what I wanted, deprogram my inner critics, and utilize cognitive behavioral therapy techniques to let myself embrace my quote unquote crazy vision, my crazy dream. you know. I was also helped by the fact that I, was able to have a couple of rounds with a therapist. Talk therapy is not for everybody. And in many ways it wasn't for me, but it was really useful to have, a couple sessions just talking out some, everybody has angst and trauma from their 20s. So, just talking that out. I also, did a lot to give back to the community. If you've been following the show for a while, you know that I worked at a drop-in space with this grant that worked with homeless and at-risk LGBT folks, and we did a lot of trauma-informed care. So I was able to sit in on a lot of these cognitive behavioral therapy, workshops pretty much, group sessions. And maybe our participants might not have gotten as much out of it, but I certainly did. And I was able to utilize those techniques to kind of build up the grit and resilience in my mindset so I could go for these dreams, So when things got tough, and honestly, running a business is difficult. Whenever I know people who want to be entrepreneurs, I'm like, all right, let me tell you what it's like when the clients aren't rolling in like you think, when it's a slow month. Let me tell you what it's like. You need grit for those times. And I really do think that working on my mindset, working on personal development, kind of, I guess, taming my inner demons, staring my shadows in the face, I really think that helped, and I don't come from a family that does emotions. So a lot of this material that I learned was new. Some of you guys might have grown up with it, so it's not a really new thing for you. But for me, it was, and I found that it really was a game changer. Now, I don't know your situation. I benefited by not having kids or pets to care for. I just have to keep myself alive. That's it. And my needs are simple and few. However, keep in mind, I have seen families and even single moms do the digital nomad thing, So shoot for the stars. You can take your kids along with you on your road to success. If you want reasons and examples for why you will fail, then you will find them. So look for reasons and examples for why you can succeed. Because never forget that you are capable of more than you think. So how can you hone your vision so you can design a strategy to achieve it? How can you focus on that dream to make it a reality? Step 1, journaling. It doesn't matter if you muse on random guided journaling prompts or follow a specific regimen like the morning papers outlined in The Artist's Way, which is a great book. I definitely recommend it. Google it, Artist's Way. It's awesome. It doesn't matter which method that you choose. It's more important to just get in the habit of analyzing your brain, asking yourself questions, because analyzing your brain is how you master it. 15 minutes a day can flush out the crud so you can focus on what you want instead of the mental debris of dramas, anxiety, and confusion. And journaling helped me figure out the what, the why, and the how I wanted to achieve so I could make those digital nomad dreams a reality. Now, for those of you guys who are like, is that going to be like a diary? No, I could never keep a diary. And I've tried throughout the years. However, I can keep a journal. It's because I don't log what I do. Like, if you're one of those people who's just like, diaries, I'm already bored. It's because I don't start off with like, I woke up and I had a piece of toast, blah, 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 blah. I dive into the things that are on my mind, that are pressing things. It's not just like a log of the random crap that I did. So if that helps you, reframe this from a diary to a journal. And then you might find that it's one of those things where it's easier to keep and to keep up when you give it a purpose, when it's a place for you to to just do a brain dump and get stuff out when you're putting your goals, when you're, doing affirmations, when you're investigating, what's going on in your brain. That makes it a powerful tool. Now, if you want some journaling prompts, I do have a short ebook called Career Clarity Now. You can find that at my website, careerkickstartacademy.com, or my LinkedIn profile. Now, let's continue on to step 2. Find your peeps. Go out and find the people who are passionate about what you are passionate about. You need to find like minds to bounce ideas off of, and more importantly, understand why your dream is important. When I was burnt out from working at a nonprofit as a career specialist and hustling hard on my business, a mentor of mine told me that I needed to mentally focus on my dream like it was the reality, and to daydream about it whenever I could. If I was like in a meeting that could have been an email, I would just kind of like let myself zone out a little bit and just think about myself being in Morocco or Portugal or London or something. That daydream, that visualization, that became easier when I joined networking groups and met people who made it happen. Because then I knew it wasn't a fantasy. People had made this real. A lot of times we bail out on our dreams because we have people around us who sometimes, with the best intentions, are trying to protect us by failure by telling us how out of reach these dreams are. A lot of times it's because they don't know somebody who's made it. It's hard to dream a dream if you don't know anybody who's ever done that thing before. So the more that you get out there and meet people who are like-minded or who have accomplished it, the better off you are for just having that touchstone of like, if that person can do it, then I can do it, or something similar. And not only is it important just for your own visualizing, but just from like a pure career strategy standpoint, you're going to want to network. Networking is essentially how people get referrals to jobs. It's how people find new clients. It's how people get opportunities. So it's not just good for your visualizing, your dream making. It's also just like a hard strategy tactic that you should just get into the habit of doing. Networking is key. If networking feels like a big word for you and it feels like, brings to mind like canapes at a Chamber of Commerce mixer or something where you're wearing like shoulder pads, just think about it as making friends, finding your peeps. So that's just a key point in everything, is just finding your people. So let's move on to the third tip. Take action. If you are confused about what you want to do, try out the field a bit. If you want to be a web developer, then take a short, affordable coding course to see if you like the work. If you want to change careers to UX design, then take a UX designer out for coffee and learn more about their workday. Freelance, volunteer, free low-cost courses are all ways to dip your toes in the water. Like, you don't want to be that person who signs up for a degree program and realizes midway through and thousands of dollars later that they don't like it, that they hate it. Taking action, and just action in general, gives you clarity, it gives you confidence, and it builds your skills. Now, I won't be a cliche and tell you that if I can do it, you can do it, or even assume that you want to roam around with a laptop. However, I bet you have a dream that you've been putting off. Maybe it's a career move or a lifestyle goal. It doesn't matter, because the techniques are the same. You have to understand your vision, find your squad, and take aligned action. You are writing the book of your life. So what's going to go on the next page? Remember, when you kickstart your career, you kickstart your life, because you shouldn't be miserable 40 plus hours a week. So I hope that you take that message, Yeah, put it in your mind frame and you think about all the ways that you can go for your dream. Thank you all for listening. As always, I'm Sami Gardner, your career specialist. Bye.
Change your career, change your life at CareerKickstartAcademy.com.